Hi guys, welcome to another great episode on the Gist with Toby. I'm super excited to have you guys around. Today's episode is going to be a little different because I'm going to be sharing my personal experience with you. Let me apologize first because it's going to be more lengthy than what you usually find on this vlog, but just bear with me and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. So I want to share my miraculous delivery experience because hey, this experience was indeed a miracle. So I'm going to share everything with you and how it happened and all that. But before I start, let me just take a moment to pray for every pregnant woman who is going into the labor room today and praying for a safe delivery because actually no woman deserves to die bringing another life into this world. And you know, when Yoruba people say that moment is esekwaye, esekon, that means you have one leg in heaven and one leg on earth. That's what I actually experienced on that day. So I registered in a government hospital in the state where I reside, and that government hospital is not one that comes cheap at all. It's the best in the state. It has all the facilities you need and everything. So I registered there, and it's that type of hospital that when you register, the nurses are telling you, don't think because it's government hospital you're going to find things affordable here. No, it's not going to be affordable, but we're going to treat you well, and they have all the facilities. So if you want a good delivery, actually is one of the best places you can go to around here. So I went there, I registered, did everything, never missed antenatal checkup and everything. The pregnancy experience wasn't too rosy like that because I was getting tired. I was training up consistently. If I get hungry, I'll throw up. If I finish eating, I'll throw up. In fact, it was a lot. As a matter of fact, at the time, I couldn't enter into the kitchen to cook because the smell from the kitchen would just make me throw up. So it was my husband that was cooking at the time. And whenever I finish cooking and he dishes the food, he'll be like, oh yeah, eat this one. After I finish eating this one, then you throw up. So when you throw up, there's another one waiting for you in the kitchen. You know, that one will stay in your stomach. It was that bad. I was throwing up every day and that was getting me really weak. Aside from throwing up, I was feeling weak a lot. In fact, there are days I would dress up and I'll be like, okay, I want to go and shoot video. And when I dress up, hey, I'll feel so weak. I'll be unable to move safe to even go and sit down to make video. It was that bad. But all in all, it was a good experience, like to remember, Sha. Then fast forward to the week I was supposed to deliver. I went to my okay, it was past that date already. My antenatal checkup date. I went to see my doctor, and the doctor was like, "Okay, we are good to go. Your baby's doing fine. We did all the scans, all the checkup." He said, "Okay, we are good to go." Then my doctor jokingly said, "Madam, I'll see you in the labor room. I don't want to see you here again. We'll meet in the labor room next." And I was like, "Okay, sir." Then the next following week, we did not meet in the labor room. Baby refused to come. So I went back to the hospital for my antenatal checkup again. That was like a week past due date already. So as I got there, I saw crowd in the front of the hospital. The hospital gate was locked and all that. And I was like, what's going on here? I asked around and I heard that the hospital has gone on strike, like normal Nigeria lifestyle. And I was like, strike. And during my pregnancy and antenatal checkup period, there was a time I witnessed one of their strike experiences. The moment the hospital goes on strike, the nurses are already carrying their bags and they're saying, we are going home already. And everything shuts down. There will be no light in the hospital. People who need to, who are already registered to give birth, they have to start looking for a private hospital, except it's an emergency case. I think they leave the emergency unit open. But anything aside emergency, you have to just find your way. And I was praying against the hospital going on strike when I want to give birth. And this is like a week plus past my due date, and then the hospital is on strike. I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do? That day after I left the hospital, I was feeling very sad, of course, because you know, when you want to give birth, after the payment, they give you this list of things that you need to buy. I think I'll try to look for that list and post it in this video. This long list of things. Then we already bought them. Our hospital bag was prepared. Like, we were really set. Everybody was around. Family, friends were around. Everybody was ready to see our baby. Then the hospital went on strike. I was like, ha. So at that day, I started looking around. I started making calls to look for a good private hospital around. And I saw one. I went to make inquiries. They gave me their list and all. And I went back home, and then I called my daughter and like, hopefully they'll call off the strike before I start feeling the baby, whatever. But my doctor said if like few days later, I think he gave me like 4 or 5 days later, that if I don't feel the signs, then they are going to just, induce me. You get, they're going to induce me to bring out the baby because he was already overstaying his stay in the belly. It was past 40 weeks, so he was already overstaying. So we shall waited. The hospital will call us strike. They'll call us strike. They did not call off the strike. And I myself, I wasn't feeling anything. I shall doing normal. There wasn't any funny feeling like that. I saw some normal pains here and there, but I didn't feel any pain or labor. So, like, I think a week later, it was past 42 weeks. My mom just said, you know what, everybody, let's go check for a private hospital, please. She wasn't like just feeling good. So we went to a private hospital. When we drove in, the doctors did scan all the tests that we have done before in the previous hospital we registered. We did all the tests again. We paid and paid and paid. It was not funny. So the doctor said something like the placenta was overripe, something like that. So they had to induce me. That day we got there in the morning. So after they induced me, I shall stay. See the pain that induced labor comes with. Oh my goodness. That pain. I don't know how to explain. It's unexplainable. It was so painful. We're there from that morning. I was on drip till I think around 8 p.m. Baby did not come. What was going on in between? I was shouting, screaming. At some point, they'll be like, okay, they are checking. I'm dilating. Maybe I've gotten to, is it 6 centimeters? I'll be 4 centimeters, I'll be 6 centimeters. I've not still gotten to the point. After some time, I will shout again. I'll say, please come and check. Oh, like, it was a lot. At some point, my husband had to go and meet the nurse, and he told her, he said, you know what? Just come and check. The nurse said, no, we know how she will act. The particular nurse we went to speak with said, we know how she's going to act if the baby is holding her. He now said, no, she knows how to hold pain very well. This woman knows how to hold pain. So please check. He might have gotten to that point and then she's not expressing as much as you guys want. So the nurse came to checking and she said, we know what we are saying. That's not gotten. Hey, I can never forget that day because it was one. I don't know how to describe it. So by 8 p.m., baby wasn't coming and all. Then I started shivering, like I was literally shaking. And then everybody was like, what's going on? What's going on? Then the nurses now said, okay, the doctor told them to stop the drip and then get me tested for malaria. I said, I used all my malaria medications up to date. So like everything they gave me in the other hospital, I used them up to date and I don't know what's going on. So they checked me for malaria and they said, I have malaria and it was very high. How come? I don't know. I don't stay in a place where mosquito is biting me that much. So I don't know, Sha. They said I had malaria. So they stopped the drip for the inducing of labor. And one of the nurses even said, hope the malaria has not affected my son. I said, no, this one is covered with the blood of Jesus. Nothing's going to affect him. So they treated me for malaria that night. They gave me injection. I don't know, maybe the other hospital I went to, they tell us that we can't take injection for malaria, so they gave us pills. But the nurses in this other hospital said those pills don't work effectively for treating malaria. So I don't know who is right or wrong because I'm not a medical practitioner. So maybe if you are, you can drop your opinion in the comment section. So the child gave me injection and they treated like 2 injections that night, which made me sleep. But before I slept, and they said I couldn't eat though. I didn't eat though from that morning. I don't think I ate anything all through. So then I said I should do exercise. I should walk around the hospital. That night I was walking around with my big belly and doing everything. Then I was not feeling sleepy. I said, I'm feeling sleepy. I went to sleep. I now slept all through the night without the drip. Of course, they had already removed the drip for the inducing of labor. The following morning when I woke up, the nurse that was on duty the previous day came and was like, what happened? You've not given birth? I said, I've not given birth. Oh, she said, I said, in fact, I slept all night. She was like, how possible is that? That the drip that I've taken should not make me have the ability to sleep. I said, me, I slept too. But they treated me for malaria. They gave me these injections. She's like, oh, those injections they gave me were very strong injections, and that's what made me sleep. I was like, so that is it. Oh, so one nurse that worked at night came to meet me the following morning, and then she said, so are you ready for the process? I was like, what process? She was like, the CS. I said, CS? No one mentioned anything about CS. What are you talking about? She was like, oh, that she thought I knew. I said, no, what? So the doctor had told me the previous day when we got to the hospital and we did the scan that my baby was like normally his head was down, but he was looking upwards instead of him to be looking downwards. I think it's one of the bridge positions we have. So his head was up, he was looking upwards. And when he told me, I was like, is that a problem? The doctor said no. So I said, okay, fine. So when the nurse came the following morning and said, am I ready for the procedures? What are you talking about? I said, the doctor didn't tell me anything like that. So when the doctor came, I was like, what procedure is talking about? It was not like, who told me that? I said, one of your nurses. Ina said, did he send that message? So the doctor explained to me that normally he doesn't opt for CS except the patient is requesting for it. He likes to try out his options, and if he sees that it's not going to work, then he tells the patient that okay, let's go for CS. So he didn't want to tell me outrightly, but he had already told the people that came with me before that okay, let's try, and if it's not working we'll just go for CS. I was like but my doctor and I had talked, and we had talked, we were good to go, and we didn't talk about CS. Then the doctor said yes, things happen. Sometimes you see people who you think they will deliver normally, at the end of the day you have to do CS, and some people that you even think they wouldn't need CS at all, at the end of the day there will be a need for CS. I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. So I was like, okay, what do we do? Then I started calling one of my friend's mom who works in the government hospital that I had registered before. I called her and I explained to her. She was like, your baby is in that position. You know what? I don't trust private hospitals with CS. Please leave that place right now. Go to the emergency unit in the hospital, the government hospital. Start acting like something is wrong. Just be screaming that, hey, they should help you. Come on, to save you and all that. And they're going to attend to you. I'm going to leave the house now and join you right there. Once your baby is like that, don't put your life at risk. It's an emergency case. So start going to the emergency unit right now and don't act calm when you get there. I was like, oh my goodness. We called other family members as well that we're very close to. And some people said, like, okay, spiritually, the baby is not yet time for the baby to come, so we should go back home. You know, different opinions. Were so confused. Then I was just walking around the hospital with my mom, and one of the nurses came and said, Madam, I know that you are confused, and I'm not going to say you should either stay in this hospital or not. If you have another hospital you want to take your daughter to, people can go. But you taking your child back home, I wouldn't advise you. She said, you know, it's not my hospital. And either you stay here or not, I'm going to get my salary at the end of the day. But I would advise that you remain here. We know what we've given to your daughter already. We know what we are doing. I would advise that you just stay here and let us finish our job. Let's do our job. But if you go back home and anything goes wrong, you wouldn't, you know, you would have yourself to blame because there's nobody you can like sharply call on. So when she made those statements, I was like, okay. So I told my mom, I said, you know what? Let's do this. So I went to meet the doctor and I said, okay, what's the solution now? What do we do? Is it to do CS or is there something else we can try? Then the doctor said, let's give it one more try. You can actually get induced again and then you go into labor. And if I see that it's taking so long and the baby is still not forthcoming, then we'd have to go to the theater. Then I said, okay, you know what, let's do this. Then I told my husband's best friend who was with us at the time, his brother and best friend, I told him, I said, what do we do? I'm so confused. And he was like, whatever it is that you want to do, just, you know, have faith and know that everything is going to be well. And I told him, you know what, I'll have my baby myself. I'm not going to go into the theater room. And he was like, that's the spirit. So the nurse advised me that I should do exercise that morning again. And you know, the joy of having two husbands and not one. I'll try to look for one of those clips that we took at the time. And you know, with my big brother, I was walking around the hospital. One person was doing the photography, the other person was hailing me, and I was so excited. I was walking. Not knowing the pain that is to come. But that morning, I was sure happy, climbing the stairs, walking down, climbing, coming, doing everything. And people were just watching. So I got very tired at some point. And then I said, I'm ready. let's do this. So I went to see myself, and then I saw blood. So I told the nurses that, oh, I saw blood. They're like, that's what we call show. I said, okay. That's how they now induced me again. People of God. Shebi, I thought I felt pain the previous day. Now I saw the other copy of pain. Jesus, that pain was so intense that my mom was so scared. My siblings were scared. My brothers were calling and saying, should they start coming down? Everybody was like, my family was on the phone all through, and yeah, I have the best family in the world. Anyways, let me just put that out there. My brothers were like, one of my brother, I have two brothers. One is very, very emotional, and he was already crying and saying, God, what's all this? After how many hours? And then he will hear my voice, the way I'm screaming, and he'll say, what is going on? Should I come down? I said, don't come. If you come, what do you want to come and do? And then the other one is not as, it doesn't show his emotions like that. Is the more should I use the word spiritual one? And then he was just praying, and according to him, was entering into the prophetic. So at some point he was in the lecture room at the time, so he will come out, he will call again and say, how is it going? They say, ah, we are still there, you still hear my voice, I'm still screaming, ha ha ha, I know. So he was shy, the one reassuring everybody and saying, you should not worry, he already knows how it's going to end. He has seen it already, and I'm going to be fine. They should not worry. I'll soon give birth. And my other brother wasn't finding it funny. He was like, what's going on? Can't the doctor do something? The pain is too much. So we're sure there. My mom was so scared. She said she had never seen anything like that before. My mom had been with different women in the delivery room. And what even made her more scared was the fact that my brother's wife, one of my cousin's wife, few months before mine, went into the labor room and she got induced. And when she got induced, the delivery process didn't even take like 10 minutes. She just gave birth and all that. But for me, getting induced and then having to wait for over 24 hours and the baby was not coming was something that really got her worried. So we shall stay though. From that morning that I got induced the following day until around 6 p.m. I was still in pain. So imagine that pain. The pain was so much that at some point I had to start saying things to myself. I was like, I'm not going to die. I started saying things like, I'm not going to hate my child. I started saying things like, I won't run mad. Like the pain was that much that I thought I was going to lose my mind. So I was saying things like, I'm not going to run mad. I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm not going to hate my child. When they say people go into labor room and then they have mental issue, I was almost at that point. It was that bad. So I had to start saying those words and all that. And at some point I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Like I was just telling the nurses, I said, it's okay, I've gotten to the limit. And nurses are like, don't worry, you'll be fine. Don't say that, don't say that. I was like, this is too much. So around 6 p.m., we moved from the labor room to the delivery room. And then the doctor came. I was like, okay, we've gotten to the point. Madam, are you ready to see your baby? I was like, yeah. My voice had already gone. And they're like, push. I push, baby will not come. They're like, don't worry, we're going to tell you when to push again. Just hold on, hold on. And I push and push. And then they're like, I seen the head of the baby, which gave me hope. But at the time, I was so tired. I was losing it already. So, and the final push, my baby now came out. Such a cute baby. But do you know why I said this is just a miracle? Because when my baby came out, he had his placenta around his neck. He was so tired, the same way I was tired. So it was a miracle that the baby didn't even die, because the placenta was like around his neck, almost choking him. So if the baby didn't come out at that time, it would have probably just gone back, which would have been very traumatic. Imagine going through that process and then not having a baby to show for it. That's why I said, for people who say CS is not good, some spiritual people preach against CS. Please don't ever say that. Don't discourage anyone. After that experience, I tell everybody that once the doctor says CS is an option, please don't even argue, don't even dispute it, just go to the theater straight. Because in fact, the nurse that came to ask me about the operation in the morning, when she came, she was like, she knows that the pain is always intense, and that's why she doesn't advise any woman to go through that. So anyways, mine was a big miracle, because after that, I was alive, my baby was alive. So I'm just so grateful to God for that. And when it came, his eyes were so red from the stress and everything. So I'm so grateful that he even made it out. Then after we now born the child finish, I just said the doctor asked, also, is there any tear? They're like, yes, very serious tear. And my baby came out as a big baby, 3.5 kg baby with placenta around his neck and in a preach position. In fact, when I was speaking to a nurse a few days later, she was like, in all her years of working as a nurse, she has never seen or heard anything like that before. Like, she doesn't believe I'll be able to give birth to this child by myself. That was a big miracle. So the tear was serious. And then, even after the baby came and they went to congratulate everybody, it was not time to do the stitches of the tear. Hey, what, what kind of, no, 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 no. They were not stitching the place, you know, like when they're using needle and thread to sew the place that just tore like fresh. I was screaming, my head was going like, it was so serious. They stitched though, and that's the pain from the stitches was intense. Everything that happened after was painful and painful. And when I spoke with one of the nurses, the nurses said, sorry, it's one of the joy of mother. I said, no, this one is not joy of mother, this is pain of motherhood. Maybe seeing my child is the joy of motherhood, but everything else in between is the pain of motherhood. Because why would someone have to go through this type of pain just to bring another child into this world? So I just said, let me share this story with you. My baby is a few months old today, and I'm so excited with how he's growing and how he's doing. But that pain is one that I'll never forget. And I'm already saying, maybe my next child, I don't know if I'm going to also vaginal delivery again, but I hear that CS is not so funny. But let's see how it's going to be. But for now, I'm even on vacation, serious vacation. I don't know when next is going to be, because the pain. No. You just have to mentally ready for the next one if you had gone through my own type of pain. If I bring him, but hey, I actually need a lawyer to represent me in court, because can you imagine that after all this pain and all the stress, and everything, yeah, say hello to the camera. My baby came out looking exactly like his dad. Like, what kind of injustice is that? With all of these experiences, like, he came out looking like his dad exactly. So this is my boy. His name is Araire, which means good wonders, and he's a few months old now. And I just love him come out. Say hello to the camera. Say hello. Say hello. Hi. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my video. If this is your first time on the channel, please come back for more videos. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'll be sharing other stories with you about my motherhood experience, my almost postpartum depression experience, because these long hours of labor came with almost postpartum depression. I'll be sharing that with you as well. Please subscribe if you haven't. I love you so much. Toby and Araire are saying bye, and we'll see you next time. So bye bye.